I've always required the right container for my creativity to feel safe within. Because if you pour creativity into the open air, it just goes and fizzles and disappears, or it's too much. There's too much infinity. So what you need is a container that holds you together.
First of all, Jacob Collier, he's just such a brilliant mind, and I don't know, his brain is wired differently, and it's amazing to hear him talking. But I think he's spot on something about creativity needing containers. We need boundaries to actually be creative and create new things. On my Innovaction canvas, on the ideation part of a project, one thing that is crucial is constraints. We need boundaries, we need limits, which is this container that Jacob talks about. I like this analogy of creativity as a spark. And as a spark, if you just put that in the air, it might be beautiful and it's gonna fizzle away, as Jacob says, but it's not really gonna do anything because we need the boundaries, we need the container, we need this spark to catch onto something to build something new. The spark of creativity not only needs to catch onto something, but you need to break something. You're gonna melt something down to build something new because everything transforms. Nothing is created out of thin air. And this idea that you're just gonna be creative and come up with new ideas, no, it's something's gonna have to be disconstructed. So there's a pain, there's death, and there's birth, there's creation, there's transformation, and that's amazing about creativity.
So here's my Innovaction framework. One of the main important things is the why, is the purpose of why you're doing this. And when we get to the ideation, first thing you talk about is constraints. We need to test the limits, you need to master the rules and break them, as we need to always to break something to build things. And constraints, they have to be seen as our creativity foundation.
That's why boundaries and the constraints are so important for you to actually build a new idea, because if there's nothing to hold on to, you cannot create anything. There's going to just be loose in the air, and we get overwhelmed with too much freedom. If you have absolute freedom, we just get stuck. We don't know what to do. That's just not how reality works. And a lot of times we see constraints as creativity killers or creativity limiters. And no, constraints, they're actually the foundation on where you're going to build up your creativity. You're going to build up your idea. You need some foundation to build things upon. Otherwise, it's just going to fall through. Stop using constraints and limitations you might have in your project, in your life, as excuses not to take action, excuses not to be creative. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, I don't have money. Oh, I don't have the skills. These are all types of constraints. This is boundaries. You have your own container already, and maybe you can shape it. You can eliminate some boundaries, but you can create other ones to develop your idea upon. But stop using constraints as an excuse. They are needed, they are necessary for us to be creative and to use our minds to its best. So stop being afraid of constraints and make the most out of them. Be creative.